And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again to the Jim Creek RC Park here in beautiful Butte, Alaska. We are live at Regional Qualifier Practice Race number 6. It's another gorgeous Saturday afternoon, and we've got 7 pilots lined up and ready to race in today's contest. Now, the format today is going to be similar to the Regional Qualifier number 5. It's going to be 7 rounds, 3 heats each. The first 2 heats in each round will be 3 pilots racing against each other, and the third round heat in each round will be a solo race. So each pilot, once again, will get their 10 or 0, the chance to either make it or break it there, all on their own. So shortly we'll be getting ready to do some racing here. Before we do that, let's take a look at the Regional Qualifier track. So here's the track here, starting out at the gate. The pilot comes through the start gate and into the chicanes. That's a series of 3 flags they'll weave between left and right. They come around into gate 2. Now that's set up to lead you through gate 3, which is a hurdle. It's a 45-degree angle to the rest of the field. Up and over the hurdle, you need to get back down into gate 4 and make a quick left turn to get around the flag into the 3-gate complex, more commonly known as the corkscrew. Gate number 5, you go straight through that, and now you're going to execute 2 180-degree turns through the flags into gate number 6, and straight ahead is gate number 7, also known as the split S gate. The pilot will go through the flags on the split S gate, over the top, back down through the middle of the gate and onto the back side of the course. That's gate number 8. A lot of pilots are having difficulty out there. We'll see how that goes today, going wide oftentimes. Now a left turn around, and gate number 9 is a hairpin turn. It's a big U-turn that they need to come, kind of slows things down, forces them to fly through this gate at a fairly shallow angle between 2 flags onto the back stretch. It's gate number 9. And 1 more flag to clear, and it's back to the start gate. And that is 1 lap. So that is the field live right now. The flight line is being set up, and we are just about ready to race. Round 1, heat number 1, it's FoggymindedFPV. That's Josh Erickson from Wasilla, Alaska. FpvSlacker in chair 2, it's Mark Slack from Anchorage, Alaska. And in chair 3, it's FpvDrift, West Plymouth from Eagle River, Alaska. They've got their quads up at the pads there. That's Foggy Minded making his way back from the setup pads there. And you'll see the start gate on the right side of the screen. And some last minute adjustments being made. Some uplifting background music today for our enjoyment for the racers as well. So all 3 pilots are now up at the podium, the flight line I should say, plugging in, getting their videos put together, and we'll be underway momentarily. So collecting some spotters, you're going to need to know where your quad goes down and making sure that there's nothing out on the track like moose or ATV riders or anything else that may be coming around. Lots of dragonflies out there, but we can't stop that. They may be in the way. And we're waiting on the tone now to start round number 1, heat number 1. And they are up, 3 pilots in the air. Little bit of contact there. It looks like FpvSlacker going through the gate. And right now it's FpvDrift, FoggymindedFPV out in the lead right now, coming into the corkscrew. FpvSlacker contacting a gate out there, recovering nicely. He's back in the air. Once again, you need to finish the race to get the points. The first place winner will get 10 points. The second place finisher will get 6, and in third you'll get 4. If you don't make it through the race, once again it's 0. So FoggymindedFPV now coming up to his first lap. That's a 44.4 second lap for Foggy-Minded. FpvDrift out on going through gate number 10. And he'll be finishing his first lap as well. The time on that one is 1 minute and 0.631 seconds. Foggy-Minded now onto gate number 9. Coming down the backstretch through 10 around the flag. He'll be on lap number 3 now with 35 seconds remaining in this race. That one a bit quicker for him. 33-second lap time there, so picking up the pace slightly. FpvSlacker still looking for his first lap. Actually, he is through his first lap. I don't think it registered. So yeah, we don't have a time on FpvSlacker. It does look like he is on the second lap now. So 6 seconds left in the race. Foggy-Minded FPV looks like might just make that next lap. And he does. He's on to his 4th lap. That last one, 33.323 seconds. FpvDrift will finish when he comes through. As FpvDrift coming down the backstretch now at gate number 10. FpvSlacker out there working on the split S gate. So there's FpvDrift gaining 6 points. Foggy-Minded gets to 10, and it's all up to FpvSlacker now to finish his race to pick up 4 points. It looks like he's dangling some grass underneath of his quad there. So there's Foggy-Minded FPV. Actually, he is now done, having been 1 lap ahead, but he does pick up the 10 points. That's 4 laps to 32.412. So still waiting on FpvSlacker out there on the track. Looks like he's now on the back stretch here, coming up through the gate. He'll finish his 2nd lap. And looks like it'll manually be put in there. For some reason, he's not registering. It must be a bad frequency in there. So that'll do it for round number 1, heat number 1.
The race is completed.
And there's your results for round number 1, heat number 1. It's Foggy-Minded FPV taking the 10 points on that one in 4 laps, 2 minutes, 32.412 seconds. FpvDrift managing 2 laps and just a slightly less of a time because of how the clock system works there. 2 minutes, 16.927 seconds. He'll pick up 6 points, and FpvSlacker rounds it out in 3rd place, picking up his 4 points. And next up, it's round 1, heat number 2. Sitting in chair number 1 will be Hazardfpv. That's David Spencer from Anchorage, Alaska. In chair number 2, it's danboymanboy. Dan Mahoney from Anchorage, Alaska as well. And chair number 3, FpvFree. That's Caleb Lofstrom. We don't have a hometown for him, but he is certainly from Alaska. So we'll probably update as we go there. So there's your pilots out there on the course, setting their quads up at the podiums at this time. And we have 3 pilots and 3 videos. We're going to get some spotters put together. And we're waiting for the timing clock now in round number 1, heat number 2. All right, we're waiting the tone now for the start of race number 2 of the day. And there you see the start line. We got 3 quads into the air, and they're through the gates. It's a tight fight going through gate number 2 right now. So Hazardfpv gets into a tangle, and he's into the ground. danboymanboy continues on through. He's into the split S gate. FpvFree now entering the race course at gate 2. Hazardfpv will be working on upright, getting his quad upright. We'll join him if he does get that back. For now, it's danboymanboy and FpvFree. danboymanboy with a sizable lead right now as he just finishes lap number 1. That'll be a 32.612 second lap for him. So he'll be working on pulling those lap times down. He's been flirting with that 30-second lap time. It'll allow him to get the 5 laps in the 2 minutes. For now, it's 1 minute, 4 seconds left in the race. danboymanboy out there coming down the backstretch already on lap number 2. And this will be a quicker lap, I think. 29.840 seconds. That was noticeably faster, so that was a good looking lap. FPV Free still working on that first lap. And now coming down the backstretch, he will gain one. There's 35 seconds left in the race, so he'll get the race 2 laps. That'll be a 1.21 second lap for him. danboymanboy now going to tally his 3rd lap. With 24 seconds left to go, he'll have to move on this one to get that 5th lap. And that'll be a difficulty for him as he impacts a flag. He'll be working hard to get that back up into the air. Now it's FPV Free. If Danboy doesn't get that up, we'll get the 10 points. So Danboy working on getting his quad back up into the air. And he does. After the bell, he would have 1 minute by rule to get that back up and going. Looks like Hazardfpv is going to be down for the count on this race as well. So danboymanboy working on that 4th lap now into the split S. FPV Free is working on the backstretch as well. So they're going to come meet up here momentarily as danboymanboy, as you see him go flying by. danboymanboy finished with the lap. There's 10 points for him. FPV Free picks up 6 points. Hazardfpv will not pick up points on this race.
The race is completed.
And there's your results. It's danboymanboy coming in first on that one. 10 points for him in 4 laps, 2 minutes, 29.139 seconds. FPV Free will pick up 6 points on his day now. 2 laps, 2:27.618. It is early in the day, but there's your standings as the second race of the day. Foggy-minded, danboymanboy, both with their wins in their respective heats, and FpvDrift and FPV Free getting second place in their respective heats. FpvSlacker also picking up points on the day. Next up, it's a solo race. It's AK Honky. That's John Sam from Chugiak, Alaska. In his solo race, it'll be the make or break 10-point or 0-point race for him. There he is out there on the podium there, setting up his quad for his race. And just in time for AK Honky's solo race, some dramatic background music to set the tone, ratcheting up the tension. And it looks like he's just about ready to go, and we'll be awaiting the spotters are ready, and we're waiting the tone. AK Honky into the air and through the start gate. Cleanly through the chicanes, coming up into gate number 2 and looking at that hurdle. Clean looking lines so far on this race. So AK Honky now coming down the backstretch to complete his first lap. It'll be a time of 35.996 seconds for him. He's on pace for a 4-lap race right now, looking at that time. Into the corkscrew he goes. As an airplane flies overhead. We've got an airport right nearby the course here, as well as a racetrack for motor vehicles, so you're going to hear some of that later on in the day for sure. So AK Honky now coming up to his 3rd lap. This one, 32.613 seconds. That'll be his fastest of the 2 laps so far. Over the hurdle he goes, and into the corkscrew once again. 35 seconds left in this race. He'll get a look as long as he gets a clean line here at a 4th lap for sure. On through gate 8 he goes into the hairpin turn, onto the back stretch. With 17 seconds to go, this will be his last lap. 32.312, again his fastest lap, so he's picking up the time each time he goes around. It's kind of gaining momentum. I think it's the background music that's doing it for him. So that's the end of the 2 minutes. He'll finish his race, and supposing he stays in the air, gain the 10 points on this thing. Into the hairpin turn he goes. Beautiful looking race so far for AK Honky. Down the backstretch he goes, and that is 10 points. AK Honky joins the leaderboard.
All pilots are finished.
And there is your results. Round number 1, heat 3. It's AK Honky in his solo race picking up the 10 points. And the time for him, 4 laps, 2 minutes, 14.144. On the day, that puts a 3-way tie at first after 1 round. So 3 rounds, 3 finishes, 10 points each. And we got 3-way tie there. 2-way tie for second place, FpvDrift and FpvFree, FpVSlacker. Sole possession of third at this point in time. We are on to round number 2. It's heat 1 of round 2. danboymanboy will be in chair number 1. FoggymindedFPV out there in chair number 2, and FpvDrift rounding out the order in chair number 3. They are on their way out to the flight starting line there now to place their quads. So a little behind the scenes action here. Some of the guys that make it go. So, not a lot of quad fixing up going on right now, but later on in the race you'll see a lot of guys back there doing hurried fixes for their quads there as they grind up some stumps and weeds and fly through bugs and whatever else gives them some difficulties out there. And we're just about ready, waiting for the tone. And there you go, the tone is off. The 3 pilots into the air. danboymanboy first through the gate, followed by FpvDrift. And danboymanboy having some trouble with the hurdle there. Recovers nicely and is now through into the corkscrew. Followed closely by FoggymindedFPV, also in the corkscrew. So this is going to be a pretty close race right here. FpvDrift also now approaching the corkscrew. danboymanboy through gate number 9 on the backstretch. There's gate 10. And finishing lap number 1. There's your time, 37.438 seconds, followed closely by FoggymindedFPV, only 1.4 seconds behind danboy. So it's a close race right now. FpvDrift making his way down the back stretch as well to get onto lap number 1. danboymanboy coming into gate 9 now. FpvDrift now completing his first lap. danboymanboy finishing his second lap now. This will be a quicker time, having not impacted any gates out there this time. He has 31 seconds, and Foggy-Minded just falls out of the sky, just out of nowhere. So it's a 2-man race right now. We'll come back to Foggy-Minded if he can get his quad back up into the air. It's a pretty good sized impact, so we'll see if he can. Not a lot of movement there in the turtle mode. danboymanboy into gate number 9, the hairpin turn with 20 seconds remaining. He'll be able to start on lap number 4 for sure. And that one, a 34-second lap for danboy. FpvDrift in 1 seconds, and he'll give it to him because of the hole shot. So he's on to his 3rd lap as well. danboymanboy now coming around the backstretch to finish his race. And that will be 10 points for danboymanboy. 30.241 second race. FpvDrift also on the ground. So he'll get 10 seconds to get that thing up in the air. And no video on that as well. So that'll be the end of the race. And there's your results, round 2, heat number 1. Unfortunately, 2 DNFs on that one. FoggymindedFPV crashing on his last lap, and or actually FpvDrift crashing on his last lap. FoggymindedFPV having some trouble earlier on. danboymanboy meanwhile picks up another 10 points, and this is how it looks on the day now. danboymanboy having pulls ahead of Foggy-Minded there. So that was a fairly significant race there. Foggy-Minded needed to at least finish to keep pace with Danboy on that one. So he's all sold out in first. Foggy-Minded FPV and AK Honky, who will be up on this next heat, tied for second, in FpvDrift and FpvFree tied at third. Next up, it's round 2, heat number 2. AK Honky will be in chair number 1, FpvFree. His second shot out there will be in chair number 2, and FpvSlacker in chair number 3. They're on their way out to the starting line, the podiums that are out there, and they'll be setting up their quads and getting ready to do some racing. Okay, and we are just about ready to race in this.
Let's race on the dome.
There's the tone and 3 quads, as you can see, into the air.
FpvSlacker, FpvFree.
It's AK Honky out there out in front. FpvFree and FpvSlacker picking up the tail end there. It's AK Honky now through the corkscrew onto the split S gate, making his way down the backside of the course. Looks just like his solo race. A nice clean lines on this one. And down the backstretch he goes for his first lap. It's AK Honky, a 38.068 second lap. FpvFree negotiating the split S. FpvSlacker finding some trouble getting close to the wrapping up in trees back there, but he has recovered, making his way back around, looks like the backside of the course as well. AK Honky out in the lead still, coming up to gate number 9. Onto the backstretch. And FpvSlacker just goes into the dirt there. AK Honky on his second lap now. That was a 34.054 second lap time. FpvFree finishing his first lap now, and FpvSlacker not too far behind. So this will be a tight race for second place, it does look like. 23 seconds left in this race. We'll see if AK Honky can get his 4th lap in. Coming up to gate number 9, it does look like he should have no problem doing that. With 10 seconds left, coming down the home stretch, there he is, AK Honky. That's a 35.686 second lap, so a little bit slower for him on that one. So that's time. This will be the 4th lap for the race leader, the 2nd lap for the 2nd and 3rd place pilots. AK Honky through the split S, coming down to the back stretch. And we'll get a tighter call here on the 2nd place race out there as it goes. AK Honky coming down the back stretch. He will finish in first with 10 points. FpvFree seems to be well out in the lead now of the 2-pilot race that's left. And he is through the gate to pick up his second place 6 points. And that leaves FpvSlacker to finish up his race to pick up his 4 points. And it is 3 starts and 3 finishes. It's a good race.
All pilots are finished.
And there's your results, race 2, heat number 2. AK Honky picks up 10 points in his second race of the day. 4 laps, 2:23.734. FpvFree gains 2 laps and about, 6 seconds ahead of FpvSlacker. So fairly tight race on that last one. There's your results on the day now. It's a two-way tie up at first. danboymanboy and AK Honky working on their perfect day. Last week it was FPV Maverick working on his perfect day, defaulted in round number 5. We'll see how far these guys can go. Hopefully one of them gets to go all the way to the end on a perfect day. FpvFree with sole position of second place at 12 points, and FoggymindedFPV not too far out of it there in third with 10. Next up, it's Hazardfpv and his solo race of the day. It's the 10 or 0. He's setting up his quad now, and he'll be returning to the flight line in just a moment.
Race order is Hazardfpv.
So Hazardfpv on his make or break race.
Okay, need a spotter.
It's plugged in and ready to go.
Okay, spotter ready? Pilot ready? Yeah. Let's race on the tone.
Awaiting a tone in the start time is Hazardfpv. And he's in the air. Clean start. Into the chicanes he goes. Gate number 2 up over the hurdle. And a little bit of a miss on gate number 4. It's a good recovery though. Into the corkscrew he goes. So a nice looking race so far. Just a little bobble out there at gate number 4, but he's got it back on track. Nice fast looking race as Hazardfpv coming down the backstretch to complete lap number 1. Goes a bit wide. It does pick him up, so he gets a quicker time than he deserves on that one, but that's okay. It all factors out at the end. 34.905 seconds on that lap. That's on pace for a 4-second lap. For a 4-lap race, I should say. Back into the split S gate he goes there. And gate number 9 around the back stretch he comes. Nice fast looking lap on this one for sure. Oh, and a solid impact into the 3rd flag of the chicane. He'll be working on getting that back up in the air. That made some serious noise in that flag there. So he gets 1 minute to get that quad back up into the air. Looks like he's got it right, upright. That last lap, 34.835 seconds, so a nice fast lap for him. So he's got it upright, he just needs to launch it. A lot of encouragement from the peanut gallery he's getting out there. So he is gonna see the race, unfortunately. It'll be a 0 on the 10 or 0 for him, unfortunately. So that DNF for Hazardfpv showing right there. We'll go to the race day standings to see where that shakes everything out. Obviously no changes on that for the day as well. So that's the how it stands after 2 rounds of racing. Once again, danboymanboy, AK Honky on a 2-way tie at first. FpvFree 4 laps down with 12 points, and FoggymindedFPV in position of 3rd place with 10 points. After the next round, we can actually start looking at where people are stacking up in the Northwest regions. We need 3 races to get that information. So for the time being, just looking at lap times and laps, it's no different than what we've been seeing right there, but it does give you a solid show of where we are on the race. And again, in order to qualify in the Northwest regions, these pilots are going to get at least 3 races under their belts. It'll be the best 3 races of 5. So here in this race today, we actually get 7 races each, so you get a couple extra mulligans on this one. But that's where we're stacking up right now as far as laps and times. After round number 3, we'll actually get a good look at some real stacking up in the Northwest region. We are on to round 3, heat number 1. It's Hazardfpv, danboymanboy, and FpvSlacker. They're out there on the track right now. placing their quads on the start podiums. Again, a gorgeous day out here in Butte, Alaska at the Jim Creek RC Park, one of the best RC parks in multi-GP. Okay, and we've got pilots at the flight line now. We're just about to get ready for the third round of racing on the day already. So moving through the day nice and quick.
Okay, spotters ready. Spotters ready. Someone got me? Yeah. Racers ready. Let's race on the tone.
Now we're just awaiting a tone for the start of the race. And there it is. Looks like 2 quads into the air. 3 quads are in the air, and FpvSlacker finally through the gate. He'll get his start there. So right now, danboymanboy. It's Hazardfpv slightly ahead of danboymanboy. It's a pretty tight race. Both going through the split S almost simultaneously. You can see the quad on the screen there. So it's a really neck and neck race between these two. Might have traded a little bit of paint there. Going through gate number 9. It's going to be tight. danboymanboy just edging Hazardfpv by, what is the time? It's just a fraction of a second on that one. So showing a 2-second gap, but that's definitely not the case. They both went through at the exact same time almost. So danboymanboy now looks like he's gained a bit more of an advantage as Hazardfpv gets a little bit of trouble with the corkscrew out there. danboymanboy coming down the backstretch, now finishing his second lap. That one a 31.962 second lap. Hazard hot on his tail, still 34.569 seconds. FpvSlacker making his way down the backstretch now. He'll be looking to finish his first lap, and there's Hazard just falling out of the sky, and he's going to work on getting that back up into the air. An unfortunate turn of events for him. We'll get back to him if he does get that quad back up. For now, it's danboymanboy finishing his third lap. That one the fastest lap so far of the day, 30.581 seconds for him. FpvSlacker finishing his first lap. With 10 seconds to go, this will be the last lap for both of these gentlemen. And Hazardfpv has got his quad upright. He's still working on getting that into the air, though. So danboymanboy coming down through gate number 10 now. Looks like he will get 10 more points. It's still on a perfect day for him. So FpvSlacker still the only one out left on the course. He's out at the corkscrew at this point in time. And as you see, Hazardfpv still working on getting that quad in the air. That turtle mode keeps rolling over and over, and it looks like he's given up on it there now. So it'll just be FpvSlacker. It's up to him to finish this race to get 6 points. So approaching gate number 9 now is FpvSlacker. A little bit wide of the 2 gates. He'll fly between those and make his way down the backstretch, gate number 10. So one more gate, one more flag, and it's a 6-point gain for FpvSlacker, and that'll do it for him. So 3 stars and 2 finishes on that one. And there's your results for round 3, heat number 1. It's danboymanboy picking up 10 more points. So the first is continuing the perfect day for him. 4 laps, 2.03 on the time. FpvSlacker picking up 6 points for himself as well. So that's where we are on the standings. danboymanboy out there in first. After only 1 round, AK Hunky will be getting his chance at the perfect day on this next race as well. So he's in second place, FpvSlacker. They're in third, FpvFree in, well, actually third place because the tie, actually no, I'm sorry, it's a 4th place for FpvFree. So now after 3 races, you can see danboymanboy 12 laps. So it's the best 3 of 5. He got 12 under his belt with an average lap time of 33.824. looking at the top 25 out there in the Northwest Regionals, that would put danboymanboy at 35. So the race leader right now, with the points that we are, would be 35, which is in the top 100 for sure. That's a qualifying time for the Northwest Regionals as it stands right now. We're on to round 3, heat number 2. It'll be AKDRL, FpvFree, and FpvDrift. And they're out there at the start line now. Having placed their quads, they are making their way back. Okay, we've got 3 pilots at the flight line now. They got their goggles on, they're plugged in, and we're just looking for some spotters, and we should be on our way to round 3, heat number 2. All right, and then we'll just be waiting the tone. There's the tone, and you see 2 quads in the air. FpvDrift is, we're going to false start that race and bring it on back. All right, so we have pilots up at the flight line now. After a full start on the last race there, FpvDrift was unable to get his quad going. So we've got that sorted out, it does look like. And now we'll just be waiting for the start tone. And waiting the tone, there we go. 3 quads you can see in the air now. Everybody has started. AKDRL will be drawing first blood on this one. He is through the chicanes and up to the hurdle already. FpvFree making his way through the chicanes about simultaneously with FpvDrift. So a tight race right now going on in second. AKDRL at the split S gate now. Very consistent racing for him today. And there's lap 1 down for AKDRL, a time of 34.193 seconds for him. FpvDrift slightly ahead of FpvFree out there on the track now as he's up to gate number 9. FpvFree working on the corkscrew, it looks like. AKDRL through the split S. Meanwhile, on to the back part of the race course, gate 9. Still a clean race going for him.
FpvDrift in second.
FpvDrift finishing his first lap just as AKDRL comes up behind him with a quicker lap this time at 33.174 seconds. So FpvFree now on the backstretch. He's looking on finishing his first lap as well. With 35 seconds left in the race, AKDRL and the corkscrews should easily be able to get onto his 4th lap. Coming down the backstretch he is. Or actually, nope, that wasn't the backstretch. Now it's the backstretch. With 21 seconds to go, AKDRL begins lap number 4. That one, a 31.231 second lap. FpvFree in the corkscrew as FpvDrift making his way around gate number 9. So they're both on their first lap. FpvDrift out a little bit ahead of FpvFree. AKDRL passing FpvFree there in the split S gate. That's time on the race. 2 minutes is up. They'll finish their laps here now. FpvDrift finishing first, but in second. 2 laps down to AKDRL, who's just finished, picked up his 3rd first place finish of the day, and it's just FpvFree now coming up, finishing his race. So 3 starts, 3 finishes. FpvFree will get 4 points on his race as well.
Pilots are finished.
And after round 3, heat number 2, it's AK Honky continuing his run on a perfect day. 4 laps, 209.559, a fairly solid time on that one. FpvDrift and Free both completing 2 laps and picking up points themselves. So the standings on the day right now, it's still danboymanboy and AK Honky duking it out at the top. A little bit of a spread now between the first and second place, FpvFree with 16 points, and in second place, FpVSlacker with 14. Right now, it's going to be FoggymindedFPV with his solo race. Up next, it's round 3, heat number 3. It's FoggymindedFPV for his solo race. The chance at 10 or 0 for him. So he's out there on the course. You can see on the left side of the screen, he's setting his quad up in just the right position to get the best start he possibly can. And it's FoggymindedFPV making his way back to the flight line now, having placed his quad. It'll be his solo race, the 10 or 0 make or break race for him. Everybody gets one on the day. So I think probably, just guessing, but the earlier you go, sure. So the earlier you go in the day, it seems like maybe the better off you are, because the wind seems to pick up in the afternoon here. So the earlier pilots may get some better times, but you'll have to compensate for the wind, obviously, as you go on through the day. So right now, FoggymindedFPV getting himself plugged in and ready to go on his solo race. There's the tone, and the quad is in the air, and FoggymindedFPV through the gate and into the chicanes. Over the hurdle and through the woods he goes to the corkscrew. Kind of a big wide looping turn he makes on the corkscrew. Lots of different techniques to go through that thing, you see, throughout the day. Into gate number 9, Foggyminded with a nice fast looking lap time here coming down the backstretch. We'll see how it shakes out. Lap number 1 gives us 31.682 seconds, so a very quick lap time for him indeed. Moving on into lap number 2, he's at the corkscrew already. So that one a little bit quicker. It's a nice technique, I think, to flip it up and over and kind of drift back down towards the next one. Gate number 9 for him now, the hairpin turn, the backstretch. We'll see if he's improved his time or where he's at. There's lap number 2, 31.221 seconds. So that, I believe, is a little bit quicker than the last one. On pace for 4 laps he is. 40 seconds left in this one, so he'll easily get through lap 3 onto lap 4. So into gate number 9 is FoggymindedFPV. Coming down the backstretch and on to lap 4 he goes. So that was his second fastest lap time, 31.862. The fastest being 31.221. So that was pretty darn quick for him there. The corkscrew, the split S. And that's time on the race, so he'll finish it up. And assuming he gets through one more gate here, will be 10 points for FoggymindedFPV.
First FoggymindedFPV done. All pilots are finished.
And there is your results for round 3, heat number 3, Foggy Minded FPV's solo race. 4 laps at 2:05, 6:06, and that changes the standings somewhat. Foggy Minded FPV not finishing, I think, his second round race. Finishes his first and his third to gain 20 points on the day. danboymanboy and AK Honky still holding on to first place after 3 complete rounds. It's FpvFree in third place. Looking at the top 25 now of the Northwest regions, danboymanboy still sitting at 35, so we're looking to get at least 14 laps. We're going to need to break into that top 25, but moving a little bit deeper into the rankings there, this is where our pilots today that are racing stack up in the Northwest regions as it stands right now, had they raced today as a regional qualifier. So danboymanboy looking at 35th place in the Northwest regions, AK Honky at 36, and on down the line. There's only 55, I believe, entered, so at 56. So Hazardfpv would be bringing up the bottom of that, having not finished the race yet on that one. So that is where we stack up right now in the Northwest regions. I'll double check at halftime to see if we have any more standings in the Northwest regions, and we will update that as we go on through the day as well. Next up, it's round 4, heat number 1, AK Honky in chair number 1, Hazardfpv in chair number 2, and Foggy Minded FPV will round out the race in chair number 3. So there they are out there placing the quads on the fine day that it is. The clouds are actually evaporating. It looks like they're going to a completely clear sky almost here. So that's the view from the racing line there of the race course with the majestic Pioneer Peak in the background. A little bit of haze out there in the sky today. Not perfectly clear, but for most people's opinion, that would be a pretty darn clear day. And our pilots have made it back to the flight line now, donning their goggles. They are all plugged in and ready to race, awaiting spotters. And then it'll be up to the scoring computer to sound the tone to begin this first race of round number 4. All right, 3 thumbs up, and we're just going now to the tone. Tone sounds 3 quads through the air, basically through the gate simultaneously. 1, 2, and 3 still out there on the track, spreading out slightly there. It looks like it'd be danboymanboy first into the, actually it is Foggy Minded FPV first into the split S gate, followed closely by AK Honky. Hazardfpv out there on gate number 9, making his way down the back stretch. AK Honky, who's going to be through the gate first? It's Foggy Minded FPV. Wow, so it's a really tight race, folks. You can see this from the externally. You'll see that they are just right on top of each other here. So it was Foggy Minded FPV, AK Honky, and Hazardfpv was the shakeout on that one, the fastest of the 3, 30.872 laps. And just as I say that, AK Honky collapses into the weeds, and he is back into the air. Fortunately, to preserve his perfect day, he's going to want to keep that badge of honor, I'm certain. Foggy Minded FPV now on his 3rd lap, nicking a flag, it sounded like, but safely still in the air. AK Honky now through onto his 2nd lap. So it's Foggy Minded, Hazard, and AK Honky. There is your 1, 2, and 3. Foggy Minded into the number 9 gate, coming down the back stretch, starting his 4th lap. 21 seconds to go in this one, so probably won't get a 5th lap, but that was a 29.219 second lap, so that was one of the faster laps of the day. Hazardfpv finds some trouble out there and winds up in the grass. We'll come back to him if he does get that righted. AK Honky through the gate now. 1 second, and that is time on the race. FoggymindedFPV in gate number 9 coming down the backstretch, gate 10. And it looks like he'll pick up 10 points.
FoggymindedFPV in first, FoggymindedFPV done.
So FoggymindedFPV steals the perfect day from AK Honky, but he does finish, gets 6 points on the day. Hazardfpv, it does not look like will finish this race. And we're up to round 4, heat number 2. In this one, it'll be danboymanboy in chair number 1, FpvSlacker in chair 2, and FpvDrift in chair number 3. They're out there having placed their quads at the flight line, making their way back to the start position. danboymanboy giving a hearty wave to the crowd. So our pilots have made it back to the flight line. They'll be shortly plugging in and ready to begin the next race of the day. So right now we're just waiting on some spotters. It looks like we've got that all wrapped up. And it's just about time for the race to begin.
Let's race.
Waiting the tone. And the tone sounds 2 quads in the air and 3 quads in the air. First through the gate is danboymanboy and FpvSlacker and Drift almost simultaneously in second and third. danboymanboy finding some more trouble out there with that hurdle. Seems like he's maybe cutting that. We'll have to watch what his line looks like on the next pass through. For now, danboymanboy through the split S. Got a little bit backed up there and on into gate number 9. FpvSlacker contacting something out there. danboymanboy now coming down the home stretch for lap number 1. Let's take a look and see what that hurdle looks like as he comes through it. There's gate 2, and that was a pretty clean look on the hurdle. That last lap, 39.399 seconds for danboymanboy. FpvDrift now coming down the backstretch to finish his first lap. danboymanboy finding some obstacle out there. And now he's on the backstretch. FpvDrift picks up his first lap just as danboymanboy finishes his second lap. This one about a bit quicker, 30.771 for danboy. FpvSlacker now finishing his first lap as well. 35 seconds left in this race. danboymanboy should easily get onto his 4th lap as he negotiates the split S there. A little bit more contact going through that. So 18 seconds on the backstretch comes danboymanboy, and yes, indeed, he will go on to lap number 4. That one a 33.323 second lap. His fastest of the day, his fastest of this race right now, 30.771. FpvDrift now making his way down the backstretch as time expires. This will be the end of the race for him. He'll complete 2 laps and get at least 6 points on the day. danboymanboy coming down will steal 10 points from FpvDrift as he finishes, and now it's up to FpvSlacker. So FpvSlacker now making his way down the backstretch and looking for that start gate, and there it is, a finish for FpvSlacker. So 3 starts, 3 finishes.
The race is completed.
And your results for round number 4 heat 2, danboymanboy taking the gold on that one. 4 laps, 2 minutes, 11.712 seconds. FpvDrift and Slacker both pick up 2 laps there. And here's how we're looking on the day. danboymanboy continuing his perfect streak. 4 starts, 4 finishes, 4 first place finishes. AK Honky also at 16 laps, missing his last one by a few seconds there, and is still solidly in second place at 36 points. FoggymindedFPV there at 3rd place and 30 points. Looking to see if we've gained anything lap time wise. The local rankings, danboymanboy has indeed moved up 1 notch in the multi-GP Northwest regional standings, as if he were racing today. 32nd place there with 12 laps and an average time of 32.372. AK Honky not too far behind him at 35th. Foggy Minded at 37th. So again, at the break, we will add in any additional times and update the Northwest region standings, as I do believe another race has been run since this data has been input. For his solo race, it is FpvFree. Round 4, heat number 3. Here he comes up to the flight line on his solo race, having placed his quad. And this is the make or break race for him. It's a 10 or 0. A little bit of pressure there, but also not as much pressure as you're not racing anybody else. So it kind of maybe balances itself out in the yin and the yang side of things there. So FpvFree strapping in. He's got his spotters most likely wrapped up, and now we'll just be awaiting a start tone to get the race underway.
On the tone. Let's race.
There's the tone. And the quad is in the air, as you can see, making its way through the start gate now. FpvFree into the chicanes. Pretty clean racing there as FpvFree now approaches the corkscrew. Observe what he does is to make his way through that. So a little bit of a flip there, and a little bit too high. He'll back it up and solidly get through gate number 6. The split S gate now. And he's on his way onto the back side of the course there, gate number 8. And this one, surprisingly, few people seem to be having trouble with the shallow angle that it kind of forces you to fly through on a fast race. To get between those flags, you'd think there'd be a lot more impacts with that gate there, but it doesn't seem like it's as frequent as gate number 8 for whatever reason. So there's FpvFree finishing his first lap with a time of 1:08.708. That'll be just enough for him to probably finish the next lap if he stays on pace here. So because he does bring that pace up a little bit, he could find himself onto a 3rd lap with this one, potentially. But for now, he's into the corkscrew. A little bit of trouble with that one turn there. He's between the 2 flags. And on into gate number 7, the split S he goes. So with 10 seconds left on the race and a little bit of trouble, there's that gate 8. That's that. It's always the trouble-making gate out there for whatever reason. Everyone goes wide on that. So that's time on the race. He'll negotiate his way around to gate number 9. And all he needs to do is finish this race to pick up 10 points. So there's gate number 10. One more flag and one more gate to get through, and FpvFree will get on the board with 10 points. And we're now done with round number 4. FpvFree in his solo lap manages 2 laps in a time of 2:19.159. Let's look and see what that does to us on the day. danboymanboy comfortably up in first place with 40 points. AK Honky just behind him at 36. And FoggymindedFPV rounding out third place with 30. It's round 5, heat number 2. AK Honky in chair 1, FpvFree in chair 2, and FpvSlacker in chair number 3. They've got their quads up and ready to go, and it's time to race. The tone is sounded. AK Honky first off the blocks and through the gate. Slacker number 2 and FpvFree number 3 through the gates. AK Honky going a little bit wide and going into the corkscrew now. Through the split us. Only 4 points behind the lead on this one. A win will put him, any points right now, will either tie or put him up in front. So this is an important race for him. FpvSlacker and FpvFree moving through the gates on the back side of the course. FpvFree finds an obstacle and is able to right his quad, so he's still in the air. AK Honky through the split S. His last lap, 33.214 seconds. We'll see what his time going forward is, if he's improving. On the back stretch is AK Honky through the gate for lap number 2. On to his third lap, that one at 37.587, so a little bit slower that time around. FpvSlacker completes his first lap, and it's just FpvFree left out there as he now comes through the start. Actually, he has gone through the start as well. So somehow FpvFree's lap did not get counted as he is all the way into the corkscrew. Now AK Honky going down out there on the track as well. So that's going to be a bummer for him if he can't get that righted. So he'll be working on that. It's FpvFree and Slacker. The time is up on the race, so they'll finish their laps, and AK Honky will have 1 minute to get his quad into the air to get those points that he so desperately would like to have. FpvSlacker ricocheting off a couple things out there. He's still flying. FpvFree has finished his race. The scoring computer doesn't seem to be picking him up, however, so we'll have to figure out what's gone on with that. I think that was 2 laps for him. And it's just down to FpvSlacker now to finish his race, going by the split S. AK Honky's still working on it with 10 seconds to go. But with FpvSlacker still out on the track, I think he'll be safe enough. So there's a AK Honky still working on it there. And he looks like he's just about to get that into the air. FpvSlacker on the backstretch now, so this is almost time for AK Honky. And FpvSlacker now gets the 1 minute countdown. He's got no turtle mode. That is going to do it for the race, folks. So 3 starts, no finishes. A disappointing race for all.
It didn't register me.
So it's FpvFree finishing the race on that one. He'll get 10 points in 2 laps. There's no timer on that, so we're guessing around 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It's unofficial time. We're not scoring by time anyways. It's a 2-lap thing, so that's just kind of a peripheral thing. AK Honky, unfortunately, doesn't finish, and FpvSlacker also crashing out near the end of the race there as well. That takes us on the standings. Basically keeps things pretty similar as they were before. Foggyminded and Danboy still tied at first, as I do believe it's Danboy's solo race coming up. AK Honky, that much needed points to bring himself into contention for first place there. He loses that, and it's FpvFree charging up from the back there now, tied for second with AK Honky, so a costly race for him 2 different ways. Another tie, it's 3 ties really. A tie for third, it's FpvSlacker and FpvDrift. Hazardfpv with 6 points on the day, and we still have 2 more rounds to go, so he's not completely out of the running. Well, I guess he would be, because there's, yeah, we got maximum of 26 points, still won't put him on the podium. But he can still add to those season totals.
How do I add to round 1?
And we are at the end of round 5 now. Round 5, heat number 3, it's the solo race time. danboymanboy will get his turn in the hot seat. He's already placed his quad, and he is getting himself ready, plugged in, and ready to go.
All those giant fields we could be flying in. So I'm danboymanboy. Yeah, I fly them. I've wanted to go down there and do that. I haven't yet. You keep flying them all over there? Yeah. That's awesome. There's a spot up that I like to fly right off the side of the road on the way out to Hazard.
Okay, spotters ready.
danboymanboy is plugged in.
Dan, go ahead, Dan. You good?
Pilot ready.
Pilot's ready.
Let's race on
He
the
is
go.
ready to go, and it's time to race. danboymanboy with a little bit more height than the other pilot, so we're always kind of cropping the top of his head out, but you get the idea.
Remember, Dan, you only have to finish.
So a good start for him.
That would be nice.
The breeze again starts to pick up in the afternoon here. The flags are starting to flutter a little bit, so that may add a little bit of complexity and maybe have an effect on some of these lap times going forward. danboymanboy into gate number 9. Coming around the back stretch now. And lap number 1 in the bag. It's not picking up. So danboymanboy, no official time just yet. Where something has gone on with the scoring computer. Either the brick might have fallen over,
Here we go. And
but we'll manually add this lap. So that's lap number 2 for danboymanboy. The timing is correct, so 52 seconds left on the race as he contacts gate number 4 out there. Into the corkscrew he goes. danboymanboy on the backstretch of lap number 3. Through the timing gate he goes. Still no score on that. We'll get a total time. We'll keep an eye on that, what it is as he finishes up. So 19 seconds left in this race. We'll see if he can get a 5th lap in. It's going to be pretty tight. He's going to have to keep it going very quickly. 11 seconds to go. Through gate number 9 with 6 seconds coming down the backstretch. 4, 3, 2, 1, and he does pick up his 5th lap. So that's the first one we've seen today, a 5th lap on the day. So danboymanboy picking up those lap times, looking to get some competition out there in the Northwest region. So down there through the split S gate he goes. On through gate number 9 of the hairpin, and coming down the back turn. This will be his last lap. And through the gate, and the final time looks like just over 2:29.
flying squirrel.
So there it is, folks, the first 5-lap race of the day. It's danboymanboy making that come true, and an estimated time of 2:29 even. So that'll definitely boost his standings there on the day. He is now solidly in first place. 21 total laps, 50 points, followed by FoggymindedFPV with 40 points, a 2-way tie at third, 36 points. Looking at the Northwest regions now, danboymanboy has put himself into number 28 position. Again, it's an estimated based on previous data there. 28th place is what we're looking at, 13 laps. And not too bad down there below him. Number 35 is FoggymindedFPV, and number 36 is AK Honky. And we are up to round 6, heat number 1. It's AK Honky, FpvFree, and FpvDrift. They have placed their quads. They are at the starting positions, looking for their spotters, and it's just about time to race in this first round heat of round number 6.
Yep. It just when they're cutting the meat, the fat, the meat all goes into big tubs, and then you just grind it and then mix really.
And here we are. And here we are on race number 1 of round 6.
What do we want to do?
Still no scoring.
We need to figure this out. That TV's dying too, so. It is?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? Okay, this is practice battery, I guess.
So we're running through the course here. We're going to see what happens. We could manually score as they come through the gates if they're far enough spread apart, but right now the timing computer's on the fritz. AK Honky, first one through the gate there on round number 1. So he's on his first lap. FpvDrift looks like he'll be the next one through the gate there as he's rounding number 9. And FpvFree out there working on gate number 9 as well. So FpvDrift coming down his end of his first lap as AK Honky goes into gate number 9 himself.
I haven't met him yet.
AK Honky now coming up and just passing FpvFree at the exact same time going through that gate.
Yeah. I know. I went through the gate with somebody. My dad. Yes, Junior.
You can see the quads out on the track there.
I forgot to plug them in. I'm sorry. There's someone that probably would help you though, bud.
Right now it's AK Honky now coming up to gate number 9 once again. Hitting the backstretch to finish his 3rd lap with 9 seconds to go. He'll be on to lap number 4. It's AK Honky. FpvDrift coming up next. There's 2 minutes on the race. FpvDrift and FpvFree both about the same time going through the track. So a very tight race between the second two.
I went through with somebody again.
So time expired. I'm not sure if that was before they went through the gate or after they went through the gate. AK Honky finishing his 4th lap now. And that is it for AK Honky. 4 laps for him in a time of about 2:34.
All right.
He's like he freestyling the rest of the course.
It's round 6, heat number 1. We're back at it here as the next 3 pilots got a practice round in here, as it was discovered that the problem with the scoring computer was that there was a cut in the Ethernet cable that runs from the start gate out to the computer. So somebody will look back at the footage and find out who it was that cut into that cable as they came across the finish line. For now, it's round 6, heat number 1, AK Honky in chair number 1, FpvFree in chair number 2, and FpvDrift in chair number 3.
You got spotters? Yes.
It's just about race time here.
Remember.
Pilots are in position. The spotters have been obtained, and it's just about time to race.
Yep.
On the toe. Race.
And the tone sounds, they're in the air. It looks like looked like FpvDrift got ahead of them. The scoring computer's still not working.
FPV screen.
So we're still gonna have to guess what's going on here. It's AK Honky well out in front now on the split S gate right now. Coming around the back, FpvFree and Drift both reaching the corkscrew at exactly the same time. So it's almost a mirror image of the previous race right now.
You're in the middle of flying.
AK Honky finishing his first lap going into the... And it did work. It did score. It's 32.902 seconds on that lap. So all is well with the world, folks. FpvFree deciding to hit the top part of gate number 4 there. He'll try that again and back it up. AK Honky, meanwhile, on gate number 9, bringing it around the backside. And down the back stretch now, AK Honky will finish lap number 2. FpvDrift just behind him, finishing lap number 1. And FpvFree also finishing his first lap in quick succession. So again, it's kind of a mirror of the last race, but it's AK Honky now in the weeds, which is a catastrophic event right here, as he did finish the race last time, and now it's FpvDrift down in the grass. FpvFree is the only one left alive for the time being. We'll join one of the other two if they do get it back into the air. So it's FpvFree with 15 seconds left to go in the race. He'll be done on this lap right now, going through the split S. AK Honky still working on getting that up. He will have 1 minute to get that quad back into the air and get those points he would like to very much have. So FpvFree hitting gate number 9.
Yeah, I know where. Get that flag.
And it's AK Honky still working on getting that back up into the air. FpvFree may have 10 points for himself there. With 22 seconds, AK Honky still working on getting that quad. And he is not up in the air. So with 33 seconds past the finish time, it does look like he's got 20 seconds left to go there. Time is drawing close to him here.
You're making a dust devil over there.
He does have it back upright. And he's in the air. So with 7 seconds to spare, all he needs to do is finish to get those points back. He is 1 point up, so he will steal this, or 1 lap up rather. He will steal this from FpvFree if he finishes this race. I believe he is on his 3rd lap, and he is. So through the split S he goes. And he hits it again. Gate 8. It's just one of those gates that you just can't, for some reason, get through out there. So he's already had his mulligan shot, and that will unfortunately do it for the resurrection of AK Honky. And there are your results. FpvFree does hang on to win that one. 2 laps in 2 minutes, 11.141 seconds. So the standings on the day look like this. danboymanboy up on top with 50 points. FpvFree puts himself into 2nd place now with that finish. A 10-point vault for him. So that's a very significant win for him. FoggymindedFPV in 3rd, and AK Honky, unfortunately, without the finish on that one, drops into 4th place. Looking at the multi-GP Northwest Regional standings, danboymanboy still at 28th place. FoggymindedFPV 35, and so on down the line, as you can see. Now, again, these are based on 50 finished races from 1 event in the Northwest region. We do still need to put in some more of the events to get a more accurate countdown of what is out there. It's round 6, heat number 2. Up next in chair number 1, it's Hazardfpv. Number 2, danboymanboy. And chair number 3, it'll be FoggymindedFPV. They have placed their quads at the start positions and have made their way back to the flight line.
I'm not. I've got moves like Jagger. Governor gets to sit under the top. Give me my drink. Somebody bring me my white Russian.
Watch you, Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No, I just really do a bad Arnold Schwarzenegger impression, and I love doing it. It's terribly good.
So we're just awaiting a few spotters here to get this show on the road.
Agreed.
Let's change the song. We need some T-Swift. T-Swift, everybody.
I was thinking adult.
As you go, just looking out at the track with Pioneer Peak looming up over the top of it there. The day has gotten quite warm, and it is giving us some difficulties with some of the equipment as it's the direct sunlight beating down and pretty much cooking a lot of those electronics out there. So some of the gear is definitely getting the test out here in the great north of Alaska.
Someone's got my back.
So it looks like we do have the spotters, and we're just about ready to run race number 2 in round 6. Through the gate, it's Hazardfpv, first of all, with a blistering pace. 3 through gate number 2. This is a close one, folks. And these are some of the 3 faster pilots out there. It's danboymanboy, FoggymindedFPV, and Hazardfpv. So Hazard, it looks like, through the split S, just ahead of FoggymindedFPV, but it's danboymanboy on gate number 9. Coming through the backstretch is danboymanboy. And he'll be through the gate first with a lap time of 28.698 seconds. That's got to be one of the fastest of them. Closely followed by Foggyminded and Hazardfpv with a 32 and 33 second lap time. So this looks like on pace for a 5-lap race for danboymanboy. The other, and Hazardfpv was in the weeds and is now back up in the air. So he saves potential disaster for danboymanboy in first place right now. FoggymindedFPV is gone through the gate in second, and Hazardfpv in third. I thought the computer said third twice. danboymanboy, his fastest lap still 28.6, and that one a 30-second lap. So there's danboymanboy on to his 5th lap, I believe it is. I've lost count. It is his 4th lap now. With 18 seconds to go in this race, danboymanboy into the corkscrews. Hazardfpv has a bad prop out there. Just hits the start gate on the very top of it. Now he's got a kind of a funny sounding prop. Foggyminded in the corkscrew. danboymanboy now coming down the back stretch to finish that. Just misses the 5th lap. And it does give it to him. It does give him the 5th lap. So he is still racing. Hazard and Foggyminded just behind him. So Foggyminded finishes his race with 4 laps. Hazardfpv finishes his with 4 laps. And it's danboymanboy.
I did it!
He's coming down the home stretch now for the 5th lap. That's the second one of the day, and there it is, folks. danboymanboy, 5 laps, the second one today.
All pilots are finished.
I keep hearing this weird ass noise. I'm like, what the hell is that?
And there is your results for round 6. Heat number 2, danboymanboy sneaks in another 5-lap round. It's 2 minutes, 36.296 seconds. Foggyminded and Hazard both knock out 4 laps each with a very close finish, 2:16 and 2:19 respectively. On the day, that brings our standings up to danboymanboy still on track for that perfect day. One more race to go, and he may make that first Alaska Drone Racing League perfect day as far as we know. FoggymindedFPV and FpvFree now tied at second place with 46 points, and it is AK Honky who can still force a race off, but he'll need some help in round number 7. And that last race brings danboymanboy up to 27th place on the multi-GP Northwest Regional standings as of this moment. One more race like that and we may see him on the top 25 leaderboard. Right now though, it's FpvSlacker on his solo race, round 6, heat 3. He's placed his quad and he is making his way back to the starting line. So this will be FpvSlacker's chance to add some points to his season totals, keep those things creeping up. You never know where you're going to be at the end of the season. So he's got a thumbs up, he's ready, waiting for the tone, and it's just about time to race for FpvSlacker. The tone has sounded, he's off the blocks and on his way to the gate. Time has begun. So a high and winding path through the chicanes. He's now through gate 2 over the hurdle and a little high on gate 4. He'll come back around and give that one another try.
The guy that sent me the alien look, he wanted me to try him out. He's trying to start it.
So through gate 4, around the flag, and now up to the corkscrew. First one, a 180-degree turn, and the second one now through gate 6, looking for the split S, and he crashes into gate 6. Everything's dark, and that does look like that is going to end his 10 or 0 race in a 0, unfortunately, for FpvSlacker. And so that is the result for him, a DNF. He'll walk out and pick up his quad. We'll take a look once again at the race day standings. At the end of 6 rounds, we have 1 to go, so we can do some math and figure out where people sit. It is danboymanboy with an insurmountable first place lead, so he will take home the gold today. FoggymindedFPV and FpvFree, who we'll see what the matchup is next. If they don't match up together, they could potentially both get the same points on their next race and go into a race-off. So we'll see how that one stacks up. In third place, it's AK Honky right now, but unfortunately for him, he could potentially get a 10-point win and hope for FoggymindedFPV and FpvFree both not to gain any points. If that happens, then we'll actually have a 3-way race off. So you just never know, folks. That's why you stay tuned, and that's why, as they say, that's why they race. And we are on to the final round. It's round 7, heat number 1, and the race-off possibility does rear its head here as FpvFree and FoggymindedFPV will be racing in separate heats of this round. And therefore, it's possible they could both score the same amount of points, and that would give us the exciting race-off, the extra race that jangles the nerves of the most steely pilot. In this one, round 7, heat number 1, it's danboymanboy in chair number 1, FpvFree in 2, FpvSlacker in 3, and we'll be joining them shortly. They're out at the starting position, placing their quads as we speak. Again, a wonderfully beautiful day. The breeze was threatening the pickup here a little earlier, but it seems to have decided not to. It's pretty calm out there once again. So with 3 races to go, it looks like we're going to be able to finish this day without too much of a windy situation out there. So this round's pilots making their way back to the start line. All right, so we're getting situated here. The goggles are on. It looked like danboymanboy was having a bit of a trouble with a bug inside of his goggles there, so that may add a little bit of complexity to the racing. It looks like he's got it taken care of, and we're just about ready to go.
Ready? Yep. I have a dog that's tempting me that fun.
Go.
On the tone.
Dogs are great.
Let's race.
I have a 1.5.
So awaiting the tone, and there it is. At least two drones have emerged.
FpvFree.
That's danboymanboy out in front there. FpvFree in second, and FpvFree crashes, and he is back up. Not before FpvSlacker. I thought he had gotten by him, but he had not. So danboymanboy now around in gate number 10 on the backstretch. He'll be back around for lap number 1. That a 31-second lap, just about 31 flat. 1/1000th of a second past that. So danboymanboy and FpvFree both on the split S right now. One lap down to the other. FpvSlacker banging around out there in the corkscrew, but he is still in the air as well. danboymanboy finishing lap number 2. This one a 28.228 second lap. FpvFree on gate number 9, looking to finish his first lap, and FpvSlacker out on the back stretch as well. danboymanboy on pace for a 5-lap race, and it's danboymanboy now hitting the gate, falling over and going upside down. This will jeopardize his perfect day. He's got the gold sewed up, but pride will he'll dictate a perfect day, and the video looks like it's gone dark. So yet the elusive perfect day may still be in danger. With 16 seconds left in this race, danboymanboy is going to be hard pressed to get this thing back up into the air. So FpvFree and FpvSlacker both on their second lap. FpvFree a bit ahead. That's race time. danboymanboy will get 1 minute, but the video has gone dark. So he is done for the day with a gold medal. Nonetheless, he just misses the perfect race day. So FpvFree now coming down the backstretch. One more flag for him. He'll pick up 10 points and put the pressure on FoggymindedFPV in his heat. So FpvFree picking up 10 points. FpvSlacker now the lone pilot out on the course.
He's doing that upside down nonsense again.
He's coming around gate number 9 on his second lap.
Right down on the landing spot. Like, it was no big deal. Whatever.
And through the gate is FpvSlacker. He'll pick up 6 points there as the second place finish.
The race is completed.
And there are your results. danboymanboy, although he will take the gold medal home, is taking the walk of shame out to go pick up his quad out on the course where he crashed it. FpvFree, though, will put the pressure on, as we'll see in this next screen, to FoggymindedFPV. So FpvFree with a 10-point win is 10 points ahead of third place right now, but not for long. It's FPV. It'll be FoggymindedFPV, AK Honky, and Hazardfpv in the next round. So AK Honky now mathematically eliminated from the podium. Looking at the standings in the multi-GP Northwest Regionals, danboymanboy stays at 27 after that. He was on pace for another 5-lap race, and that definitely would have brought his times up. Keep in mind, during the multi-GP qualifier, there will only be 5 tries instead of 7, and it'll be the best 3 out of 5. So the last 2 races here are mulligans. So these guys are going to have to heat up a little bit quicker on round 1 and 2 to get into their real fast racing times.
Race order is:
It's round number 7, heat 2. AK Honky in chair 1, Hazardfpv in chair 2, and FoggymindedFPV in chair 3. All eyes are going to be on Chair 3 on this one, as this is the pivotal race. He'll need 10 points to gain a chance at the podium and do the race off here after this one.
Okay, need spotter, please. Spotter, Caleb, please. I got Josh again. Okay, our spotter's ready.
So this is where the pressure starts to mount up just a little bit. You know you have to do something, and it makes it all that much tougher. So now
Spotters
we're
ready now.
waiting for the tone. The thumbs are up, and now we're out on the course.
Up here?
And the tone sounds, 3 pilots are in the air. Doesn't sound like we're getting timing on this one either. That may be a problem. AK Honky has crashed. So Hazardfpv and FoggymindedFPV will be duking it out here. AK Honky has made it back into the air. So it's going to be Hazardfpv first through the gate. FoggymindedFPV quite a distance behind him, so he's going to have to do some work to catch up there. FoggymindedFPV now coming through in second. And AK Honky working his way down the track as well. So it's Hazardfpv right now at gate number 9 in the lead.
AK Honky in third. Hazardfpv in first.
Hazardfpv out in first there, making his way around the track. Up to the corkscrew he goes. And we'll go head-to-head momentarily with AK Honky, who's coming out of the split S.
FoggymindedFPV in second.
Sometimes surprising that there are not more head-on collisions in that area. AK Honky now finishing his lap. That'll be his second lap. He's on to lap 3. Hazardfpv now with 21 seconds to go has gone on to his 4th lap. Foggy-minded way back at the split S, so he's going to have to hope for some buffoonery out there with Hazardfpv to have some troubles. And just as I said that this does happen, Hazardfpv is in the dirt. FoggymindedFPV and AK Honky now out on the track. So that is the end of the race. Hazardfpv will have 1 minute to get it back into the air. Otherwise, it's AK Honky has finished his race, and now it's up to FoggymindedFPV. He has the chance to get the 10 points on this thing. He's on his 4th lap. Hazardfpv still upside down. So into gate 9. He does have the luxury to take it fairly easy here because there is no competition right now, and FoggymindedFPV will pick up the 10 points.
Second, FoggymindedFPV done.
It did say second. And there is still one racer trying to get their quad into the air. Hazardfpv is not over yet, but it still has not shown a whole lot of movement on his quad. He is upside down. 10 seconds to go at Hazardfpv.
My props loose on it.
And now FoggymindedFPV can celebrate as he makes the podium, or at least a chance for it, in a race off.
The race is completed.
And there are your results. FoggymindedFPV does end up pulling it out in a dramatic finish. He gets the 10 points. In first place, AK Honky is able to right his quad as well and pull out a 2nd place points. He'll come in, that's good for his season totals. And here we are at the end of round, let's see, it's round 7, heat number 2. danboymanboy obviously in first place. FpvMinded and FpvFree will have a race off. This next one is FpvDrift. This will be for consolation and season points. And the last standard race of the day, round 7, heat number 3, it's FpvDrift on his consolation race. He has placed his quad and he will be making his way back up to the start gate. The flight line, I should say.
Sit in the last one, it's cooler.
Take your time, Wes.
Issues that have prop nuts ever.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's cool. I'm no joke. It's cooler sitting there. I always win.
You do look pretty cool.
Well, I had my cheerleader behind me.
Woo! Josh can't do it.
Let's bust this thing out. You're like this right next to my head. You can do it! You're ready. You're like, I'm ready to do it now. I'm ready.
Do I got a spotter?
I'll spot you. I think we're all gonna spot you.
All right.
Spotter's ready.
Not yet.
You got a weevil on your head.
Still went right through. That's why you need a pair of Crocs, man.
Okay.
Racers ready.
Flyers.
Oh, I put them back. They're right
So
over
it's
here.
FpvDrift in his solo make or break race, waiting for the tone, and he is in the air. Through the start gate and the time begins into the chicanes. Out there in his FPV camera, you can see what a beautiful day it is out and been out here all day long.
There we go.
A little bit of a breeze now,
That's a nice one.
threatening to kick up for FpvDrift's race as he goes into the corkscrews. Maybe that breeze pushing him around a little bit there.
All right, man. What time
You
is
can
it?
see the effects of the breeze there now coming into the split S.
I just know that my parents will be back there to help package fish.
Oh, they went dip net?
No, they went and bought fish from the setting site.
Oh, really?
And on around to gate number 9, the hairpin gate. And FpvDrift now on the back stretch.
FpvDrift in first.
And that lap time there, 1 minute and 2.212 seconds. Out over the hurdle that he goes. 36 seconds left in the race. Into the corkscrew. That one worked out a little bit better. If he can push the time up a little bit, he'll be able to get through and start a third lap. He's in the 14 seconds to go into the split S. And the elusive gate 8, he makes it through cleanly. 2 seconds and 1 second. That's the race time. This will be his last lap.
Wow, I'm barely going to get through this. My screen is black.
It was like 20 something.
Down the home stretch he comes. And FpvDrift will pick up 10 points to add to his season
All pilots
totals.
are finished.
Wow, what is on my lens?
Maybe you hit a bug.
And there it is, the end of regulation. Round 7, Heat 3, FpvDrift does finish his race with 2 laps in a time of 2:11.181. And the standings on the day look just like this. No big change there. danboymanboy will take home the gold. And up and coming, we have a race-off between FoggymindedFPV and FpvFree. So one will take home the bronze and the other the silver. It is the race-off, round 7, heat number 4. FoggymindedFPV and FpvFree have placed their quads. They are at the flight line as we speak, plugging in, getting ready for this second place race-off.
I'm just giving you a hard time. I can switch it. No, it's okay.
All right, so we've got spotters in place. We're getting ready to start the race-off.
I heard a fake buzzer all of a sudden. I was about to take off.
And the song in the background is a drone racing song, so it's got all the sounds of the start gate. Surreptitiously, it made a tone, just about got them to go. The trigger fingers are itchy, ready to race.
My brain. I just almost took off.
Call it? No beat? Okay, race is ready.
So we're going to do a manual start here.
Sorry, I'm going.
Beep!
Beep, go for it, man.
Okay, they're in the air. A little bit of a tough start there. So it's FPV first into the corkscrew. Foggy-minded FPV now coming up to the corkscrew as well. It's 2 minutes. How are we doing 2 minutes? So we don't have an official time here.
I don't have my phone. I can tell you when 2 minutes says up, but we're at minute 13.
So Foggy-minded FPV now coming down the backstretch.
Look at my screen. You see 2 minutes almost. Minute 27. Nerves.
So minute 34 on FPV's screen is counting up. I think it's Foggy-minded FPV out in front, but not by a whole lot, as it's FPVFree coming up to the split S. Now that's 2 minutes is in the race. I believe they're both at 2 laps right now. Foggy-minded FPV. Looks like he's going to take this one, but not by a whole lot. Oh, an FPVFree, just to put an accent on it, decides to center punch the start gate. And that will be regional qualifier race number 6 in the bag.
Practice number 6 for Alaska Drone Racing League, and we got our winner, danboymanboy. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
And how was your flying today?
Very smooth. I felt locked in today around the corners and around the loop-de-loop. And I got some new gimbals last week. I think that helped me out a little bit.
Definitely was getting some good lap times too, so congratulations. Okay, practice number 6, and we got Josh, Foggy-minded FPV, in 2nd place. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
How was your flying today?
It was fun. I thought I did a lot better than usual.
Yeah, you were getting some pretty good lap times today. I was impressed.
Didn't even see him.
Didn't even see him. Okay, well, you did a good job.
All right.
Practice number 6, and our 3rd place goes to Caleb, FpvFree. Congratulations, sir. And you just started last race, and you're already getting in 3rd place. You're placing, so you're doing pretty good. How was your freight racing today?
It was fun, a lot more difficult than I had anticipated, and smooth and steady got me here. So,
well, you definitely did a good job. Congratulations.